A West Hollywood pot shop owned by actor Woody Harrelson and TV host Bill Maher was hit by smash and grab thieves early Saturday morning. They shattered the store's glass doors to gain entry and filled trash bags with thousands of dollars in merchandise.
Bill Maher's catching major heat again, not for a comedy bit, but for daring to call out the dysfunction inside his own political circle. He's been dragging the Democratic Party through the mud, especially over what's happening in California, a state he once praised as his personal paradise. Now he says it's crumbling under its own weight. Take his 3-year battle just to get his solar panels connected. Yes, 3 years. And this isn't some average Joe we're talking about, this is Bill Maher. Rich, famous, and politically connected. If he can't cut through the red tape, what hope does the average Californian have? But the solar panel saga was just the warm-up. Maher's been relentless on the rising crime wave and the defund the police chaos he says has gripped California. He's openly blamed soft and crime reforms pushed by Democratic leaders, policies that, according to him, have backfired hard, and just when you think it couldn't get more personal, it does. Maher's own cannabis shop, the one he cones with Woody Harrelson, just got hit, a full-on and grab, windows shattered, merchandise looted, security nowhere in sight. It was the same lawless frenzy we've seen plague California's retail sector for years now. The suspects, a mob of teens, including one described as a literal child, and the loot, worth thousands. But here's the most disturbing part. This wasn't the first time. That's right, even Bill Maher can't escape the consequences of the policies. He once cheered for when robbery becomes just another Tuesday in LA. You know something's broken. Maher's been sounding the alarm, but now he's living the nightmare, and it proves his point.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
So we're going to have to change how we do business in California. We're going to have to address people's legitimate concerns about crime. I was in South San Francisco 2 years ago after I had an experience in the city that all too many people had. When my luggage was stolen out of my car, they tell you don't ever leave your luggage in the car. I never do until the one time I did. And of course, it got stolen.
In the most brutal way possible. Even the elite can't hide from the results of failed leadership. And that's exactly what we're unpacking today. How California went from progressive utopia to a dystopian disaster, and how even the rich and powerful are getting a taste of the consequences. Maher isn't just ranting anymore, he's experiencing the fallout firsthand. And with every new robbery, blackout, or bureaucratic nightmare, his message hits harder. So before we get into the full breakdown of what happened at his store, and why it's a symptom of a much deeper problem, make sure you stay locked in, because this is the California that politicians don't want you to see. So here we have Adam Schiff, yes, that Adam Schiff, now officially a U.S. Senator from California, sharing a story that honestly sounds like it was pulled straight out of a dark comedy. The man was in San Francisco, just making a quick stop at Target to grab some toiletries. No big deal, right? Except he made one fatal mistake.
First of all, I had to get the clerk, which is hard to find, to unlock the shampoo or the whatever. So that's one thing. And then I get to the cashier. The cashier asked me if I want one of those Target bags with a little bullseye on it. And I said, yes, that Target bag is going to be my luggage for the next 2 days. And she asked me what happened, and I told her, and she basically said, in not so many words, yeah, Democrats are assholes. And I thought, you know, if the cashier in South San Francisco at 10 o'clock at night believes that Democrats are assholes because the shampoo is locked up and my stuff got stolen out of the trunk, we've got a major problem.
Leaving his luggage in the car. Classic rookie move in today's California. Sure enough, when he came back, his window was smashed and his bags were gone. Welcome to the Golden State, where even senators can't dodge the smash and grab epidemic. But wait, it gets more surreal. Schiff says he needed help just to buy basic toiletries because everything, even toothpaste, was locked behind plastic. That's the California retail experience now. You need a store associate just to brush your teeth. After that hassle, Schiff finally gets what he needs and asks for a bag at checkout. A simple red and white Target bag, and that, he jokes, is going to be his new suitcase for the next few days. But then comes the real kicker. The cashier, hearing his story, doesn't offer sympathy. She hits him with cold honesty. She looks this sitting U.S. Senator dead in the face and says what so many Californians are thinking but rarely say out loud. Democrats are a-holes. That's why this keeps happening. That's right. In the heart of liberal San Francisco, a Target employee just casually blames the entire crime wave on Democratic leadership to Adam Schiff's face. And what makes it all the more jaw-dropping? He tells this story like it's just another weird anecdote, but it's not. It's the perfect snapshot of a state that's completely fed up. This isn't partisan politics anymore, it's personal. People are tired. They're watching their neighborhoods deteriorate. Stores locking up everyday essentials. cars getting looted in broad daylight.
That's right, the break-in happened over the weekend, and one of the suspects looks to be a child. Now, it's not the first time the business has been targeted by thieves, but the business owners tell me they plan to make it the last.
And when even a Democrat senator is being told off by retail workers in a Democrat stronghold, that should tell you just how deep the frustration runs. It's not just conservatives shouting into the void. It's Target employees, it's shoppers, it's people who voted blue for years, all wondering when someone's finally going to fix the mess. This isn't just one Target employee popping off. This is the pulse of an entire state. Californians are no longer just complaining, they're voting. In the 2024 election, we witnessed an earthquake. Voters across the state swung to the right, including support for the so-called evil orange man. And even more shocking, they passed Prop 36, repealing the infamous Prop 47, the law that for a decade basically legalized petty theft. It lets shoplifters get booked, released, and right back out stealing by dinner. No jail, no fear, just chaos on loop. And finally, the people said enough. Because it's no longer a mystery who's responsible. Voters have stopped blaming the system and started pointing fingers directly at Democrats. And the backlash is landing hard. Oakland's Mayor Shang Dao recalled Alameda County's soft and crime DA Pamela Price. Gone San Francisco's Chesa Boudin, booted. Even London Breed, once seen as unbeatable, got slapped down in the regular election. These aren't fringe candidates getting replaced. These are high-profile progressives being shown the door by their own base. The left isn't just losing elections, they're losing control. And now we're seeing the political scramble. Democrats who once ran on compassion and reform are now rushing to rebrand as tough on crime. They're begging for the approval of guys like Bill Maher, trying to prove they can still be trusted. But here's the tragic irony. Maher, one of their loudest defenders, just became another California crime statistic. His store got looted again. Another sign that no matter how rich, famous, or loyal you are, if you live in California, you are not safe. The message from voters couldn't be clearer. They're tired of the slogans, tired of the excuses, tired of watching their cities get hollowed out while politicians smile for the cameras. California was supposed to be the future. Instead, it's become a warning. And if even Bill Maher is starting to see it, what does that say about how far things have gone? Because this isn't just a political shift, it's a public reckoning. Look, some of y'all might laugh and say, well, that's what happens. You get what you vote for. But honestly, it's just sad. Because when you really look at the numbers, Californians are trying to change things. Passing Prop 36 and repealing Prop 47 was a massive wake-up call, a cry from voters saying, we're done with the lawless, free-for-all. Then, LA County chose a new district attorney, a guy who ran as a Republican in 2022, before flipping to independent and still won. People don't care about party anymore. They care about safety. But somehow, even after all, nothing changes. We're stuck in a system where even when someone is arrested, they can't go to prison because the jails are too full. They get dumped into an overcrowded county facility and walk right back out. The perfect example, the so-called snake burglar, who racked up 76 felony burglaries and still got released. Why? No space, no consequences, just rinse and repeat. In Maher's case, the only thing that stopped the looting wasn't police, it was an armed security guard. And even he couldn't legally intervene. The criminals ran the second they saw him, but the guard didn't even draw his weapon. Why didn't he? Because California basically neutered security guards after the Banco Brown case. Remember that. A Walgreens guard defended himself from a violent shoplifter and still got dragged through the media. That one case changed. The rules now, even if guards can stop a robbery, they're told to stand down. That's why chaos wins. That's why smash and grabs are just another weekend in LA. The Woods, a high-end dispensary owned by Bill Maher and Woody Harrelson, was hit at 4:30 a.m. Security footage shows it all. Hooded thieves breaking in, looting, and disappearing. $3,000 worth, gone in minutes. Now, some folks on the right will use this to attack legal weed. They'll say it's ruining cities, stinking up sidewalks. And look, I don't smoke. I don't love the smell either, but I do support legalization. That's not the problem. The problem is California's government somehow took legal weed and made it unprofitable. Think about that. Only this state could legalize marijuana and still lose money. And the legal market, dying. The illegal market, thriving. Because regulation is so suffocating that even celebrity dispensaries can't stay safe, let alone small, independent shops. And the culture surrounding it, just as delusional. People post videos talking about weed lounges as peaceful sanctuaries with Buddha statues and wellness energy. Meanwhile, they're getting robbed like liquor stores during a blackout. One of the coners said all the celebs, Maher, Harrelson, John Menro, have been notified. And yes, they're pissed. Rightfully so. The footage shows the thieves didn't even bother with parking. They pulled straight into the handicap access zone like criminals don't even pretend anymore. A screwdriver, a few hard shoves, and they were in. Classic smash and grab, clean, quick, and unstoppable. And don't expect cops to arrive in time, because even if you have alarms, even if you do everything by the book, response times in these left-run cities are a joke. The store was lucky there wasn't major damage. Lucky. That's where we are now. Business owners feel grateful when thieves leave a wall intact, and for the small shops without celebrity backing, it's a death sentence. Crime raises costs, chases off customers, and leaves these owners with no choice but to shut down. And let's be clear, these thieves aren't desperate, they're emboldened, because they know the system won't touch them. This is happening in the most regulated state in the country. And still, the criminals win. Add online competition into the mix. No crime, no rent, no armed guards, and how is a storefront supposed to survive? It's not. That's the point. California is becoming a warning sign. This is what happens when crime goes unchecked. Voters are begging for order. Businesses are bleeding. And the politicians, still clinging to their slogans, pretending it's all under control. Meanwhile, livelihoods vanish. And for what? Optics, virtue signaling, political correctness. And if you think that's wild, here's the most jaw-dropping part. One of the burglars, a child, witnesses say he couldn't have been older than 8 years old. 8, breaking into a weed shop at 4:30 a.m. with a screwdriver. The coroner said it best, absolutely shocking. But here's what I want viewers to understand. This isn't rare anymore. In California and in other cities like Baltimore, where we're seeing waves of carjackings and pack assaults, even 8-year-olds are getting arrested. That's how far this has gone. That's the level of collapse we're dealing with now. Why? Because the same softened crime policies that failed with adults have been tripled down on for juveniles. Gangs know it, criminals know it, and now they're sending kids to do their dirty work, because kids face almost zero consequences. If an 8-year-old gets caught in a burglary, what happens? Nothing. Maybe a slap on the wrist, maybe a social worker visit, and then they're right back out. So if you're shocked by this, you haven't been paying attention. This isn't rare. It's becoming the new normal, and it's disgusting. And it didn't stop there. Literally the next day after the Woods was hit, another dispensary, Urban Markets in West LA, had its own attempted robbery. But this time, an armed security guard was ready. He didn't hesitate. He fired at the suspects, and they scattered. That's how you stop a smash and grab. Not with calls to the LAPD, not with softer laws. With someone who's willing to defend property and people in real time. And now, the Woods is taking a cue, beefing up security, adding steel gates, and installing alarms loud enough to wake the whole block. Because clearly, the state won't protect them. And let's be real, that armed guard, who stepped up, he's proof that defensive firearm use works. Let's just hope the new LA County District Attorney doesn't make him the villain, like we've seen in past cases. So far, this new DA seems like he wants to hold criminals accountable, but after years of policies that protect thieves more than victims, trust is low. Bill Maher's dispensary team might want to stop focusing on fancy camera angles and higher race footage of hooded suspects. What they need is plain and simple, trained guards who are ready before the next break-in happens. So what do you think? Will Bill Maher keep speaking out this Friday? Is this new DA and the Prop 36 repeal enough to finally turn the tide on California's crime crisis? Or are we just treating symptoms while the real disease, a broken justice system, continues to rot from within? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I always read them. And if you found this video eye-opening, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories just like this, and follow me on all social platforms to stay connected. If you want to support the channel directly, the links are down below. This has been my breakdown on how even Bill Maher, a liberal icon, is getting robbed in his own progressive backyard. And what it says about the true state of California crime. Stay tuned, because if this wave keeps up, it won't just be celebrity shops next. It'll be everyone.